You've always felt it, haven't you? That subtle, almost imperceptible hum beneath the surface of everyday interactions. A silent language spoken not with words, but with glances, hesitations, and the space between what's said and what's truly meant. You watch, you listen, you absorb. While most people are busy participating, you're often observing. Not in a detached way, but with an intense, almost insatiable curiosity for the mechanics of human behavior, the hidden gears that drive us all. You notice the shifts in energy, the unspoken anxieties, the subtle tells that reveal a person's inner world long before they utter a single truth. It's a quiet superpower, often mistaken for shyness, aloofness, or even overthinking. Here's the thing nobody talks about. This deep observational capacity isn't just a personality quirk. It's a fundamental difference in how your brain processes reality, a unique neurological architecture that shapes your entire experience. What you're about to understand today completely changes the way you see your own mind and why you perceive the world with such profound depth. This doesn't mean you're strange, or that something is inherently wrong with you for feeling like an outsider in a world that often values outward expression and immediate engagement. On the contrary, this unique vantage point is a sign of a distinct and powerful cognitive style. For too long, society has championed a single mode of being, the extroverted, the active, the immediate doer. But this is where it gets interesting. Human psychology is far more diverse than popular narratives suggest. There isn't one normal way to process information, to connect with others, or to derive meaning from life. There are profound, neurobiologically rooted differences in how we attend to the world, how we construct our realities, and what registers as significant. People like you, the deep observers, operate on a different frequency, tuning into signals that most minds simply filter out. You're not broken. You're simply wired for a different kind of engagement, a richer, more nuanced interaction with the tapestry of existence. And neuroscience explains why. Research into attentional biases and sensory processing sensitivity consistently reveals that some individuals possess a heightened awareness of environmental stimuli, both external and internal. Consider the concept of sensory gating, a neurological process that filters out irrelevant information before it reaches conscious awareness. For most people, this filter is highly efficient, allowing them to focus on immediate tasks without being overwhelmed. But for deep observers, this gating mechanism might be less stringent, allowing a wider stream of data, sounds, visual details, emotional microexpressions to pass through. This isn't a flaw, it's an expanded input channel. Studies using fMRI have shown increased activity in brain regions associated with attention and integration in highly sensitive individuals, suggesting a brain that is simply doing more with the information it receives. It's like having a high-definition sensor array in a world broadcasting in standard definition. This leads to a richer internal world, complex insights, and a profound appreciation for subtlety. If you find yourself nodding along, realizing that this channel consistently dives into the invisible currents of human experience, exploring the very mechanisms that make minds like yours tick, then you might just belong here, among those who seek to understand the deeper truths. But this is where it gets interesting. This constant intake of information isn't always a conscious choice. It's often driven by a hidden neurological mechanism, a subtle interplay of dopamine, reward pathways, and the very architecture of your identity. Your brain, in its relentless pursuit of understanding and pattern recognition, has likely wired itself to find subtle cues and hidden meanings immensely rewarding. Every time you connect an unspoken glance to a deeper emotion, or a slight hesitation to an underlying anxiety, your brain releases a small cascade of neurochemicals, reinforcing that observational behavior. This isn't just about curiosity, it's about a deep-seated drive for accurate models of the world. The satisfaction of seeing something others miss, of connecting dots that remain invisible to the majority, becomes a powerful, almost addictive feedback loop. This sounds contradictory, but your brain isn't just passively observing. It's actively seeking and creating meaning from the chaos, and rewarding itself for doing so. This drive, often operating beneath the threshold of conscious awareness, is more serious than it seems because it shapes your entire perception of value and engagement. It makes superficial interactions feel hollow, while deep insights become the true currency of your psychological world. This leads us to a fundamental difference between two psychological profiles. On one side, you have the participants, minds primarily oriented towards action, immediate results, and direct engagement. Their reward systems are often tuned to external validation, social reciprocity, and tangible achievements. They thrive in environments that prioritize doing, speaking, and leading. For them, observing is a precursor to action, a means to an end. Then there are the observers, people like you. Your primary mode of engagement is often through interpretation, analysis, and understanding. Your reward system finds profound satisfaction not just in doing, but in knowing, in comprehending the layers of reality. You might spend more time processing information internally, building intricate mental models, and anticipating outcomes before engaging externally. Both profiles are essential for a functioning society, and both make perfect sense from an evolutionary standpoint. One drives the action forward, the other ensures its deeper meaning and potential pitfalls are understood. And if you're watching this, chances are you resonate deeply with the latter, finding your power not in the spotlight, but in the quiet, expansive space of perception. This difference profoundly impacts how empathy is allocated and how identity is formed, connecting directly to your sense of self-esteem and the need for external validation. Most people often allocate empathy based on overt expressions of emotion, clear signals of distress, or shared experiences. Their sense of identity is frequently reinforced by direct social feedback, visible achievements, and the mirroring of their actions by others. But for deep observers, empathy often extends to the unspoken, the implied, the potential. You might feel a profound connection to someone's underlying struggle, even if they present a facade of strength. This can be both a gift and a burden, as you perceive vulnerabilities that others might not, leading to a unique form of compassion. Your identity, by contrast, is less about external mirroring and more about internal congruence, a feeling of being true to your own insights and understandings, even if they diverge from popular opinion. This can make external validation feel less essential, even superficial at times. You are not defined by how loudly you speak, but by how deeply you see. This doesn't mean you don't desire connection. It means your deepest connections are forged in the shared recognition of subtle truths, not just shared activities. And in that quiet recognition, there is a profound validation of who you are. These profound psychological preferences often have invisible origins, roots stretching back into your past, shaped by experiences, defenses, and the very environment in which you grew. Perhaps you experienced early rejection or exclusion, not necessarily traumatic, but enough to foster a natural caution, a tendency to observe before engaging, to understand the landscape before stepping into it. Maybe you developed a hyper-awareness as a defense mechanism, a way to navigate complex social dynamics by reading between the lines. Or perhaps you were simply born with a heightened sensory and emotional sensitivity, making the world a more intense place, and observation a natural mode of processing. None of this is a pathology. It's an adaptation. Your brain, in its infinite wisdom, learned that observation was a powerful tool for survival, for understanding, for predicting. It developed sophisticated internal models of the world, making you an expert at pattern recognition and subtle inference. These early experiences didn't break you. They forged a unique lens through which you now perceive reality, a lens capable of seeing intricate details and hidden connections that most simply glide over. This deep observational capacity also profoundly influences how you seek and find meaning in life. Most people often find meaning through active participation, building a career, raising a family, contributing to a community in visible ways, creating a public narrative of their lives. For them, Meaning is often an outcome of direct engagement. But for people like you, the observers, meaning can be found just as powerfully, if not more so, in the act of understanding, in the quiet contemplation of patterns, in the synthesis of disparate information into a coherent narrative of existence. You might derive profound satisfaction from simply witnessing the unfolding of life, from connecting seemingly unrelated events, from understanding the why behind the what. This isn't passivity, it's a different form of engagement, a rich internal life where meaning is actively constructed through insight rather than solely through external output. You are not merely a spectator, you are a conscious interpreter, a sense maker, transforming raw data into profound personal wisdom. Neither path is superior. They are simply different ways of interacting with the fundamental human need for significance. And this distinct approach to meaning-making ties directly into how you experience states of flow, presence, and consciousness. The concept of flow, that state of complete absorption in an activity, is often associated with high-action tasks, athletes, artists, surgeons. But for the deep observer, flow can manifest differently. You might enter a state of profound, timeless presence not through external action, but through intense internal observation, deep reading, philosophical contemplation, or intricate problem-solving. It's a flow state that arises from the seamless integration of information, from the unfolding of an insight, from the meticulous construction of a mental model. Your presence isn't always anchored in the immediate external environment, but often in the rich, vibrant landscape of your own thoughts and perceptions. You live more on your own axis, driven by internal curiosity and the unfolding of understanding, rather than being constantly pulled by external stimuli or expectations. This allows for a unique form of conscious awareness, one that is less about reacting to the outside world and more about deeply integrating and interpreting it. So let's be absolutely clear. You are not broken. You are not missing out on anything fundamental by operating in this deeply observant mode. In fact, you possess a silent advantage. In a world increasingly saturated with noise and superficiality, your capacity for deep observation, for seeing beyond the obvious, is an invaluable asset. It allows you to navigate complexity with greater foresight, to build more profound connections based on genuine understanding, and to cultivate an inner world rich with meaning and insight. Your strength lies not in conforming to external expectations of engagement, but in honoring the unique way your mind is wired to perceive, to process, and to profoundly understand the world around you. This isn't a deficit. It's a superpower for navigating the subtle currents of human existence. Embrace the quiet power of seeing everything, because in that profound observation, you truly find yourself. If these insights resonate, if you feel a sense of clarity and belonging in understanding the hidden depths of the human mind, then perhaps you'll find more to explore here. And this exploration isn't just about intellectual understanding, it's about practical integration. It's about learning to consciously manage that expansive input channel, transforming potential overwhelm into a source of profound strength. For the deep observer, the challenge isn't a lack of input, but sometimes an excess, a constant stream of data that, if unmanaged, can lead to mental fatigue or a feeling of being constantly on. But with awareness, you can begin to curate your environment, develop strategies for intentional processing, and build resilience against the very signals you're so adept at perceiving. This means understanding when to lean into your observational gifts and when to create space for internal quiet, allowing your complex insights to fully crystallize without constant external interruption. It's about leveraging your unique wiring to construct a life that truly honors your cognitive style, rather than fighting against it. This isn't about changing who you are. It's about empowering the incredible mind you already possess. It's about creating a personal operating system that capitalizes on your natural inclination towards depth, turning what might once have felt like a vulnerability into your greatest asset. You're not just an observer. You're a sophisticated internal architect, capable of designing a life that aligns with your intricate mental landscape. This involves recognizing the unique rhythms of your attention, understanding your personal thresholds for stimulation, and consciously choosing interactions and environments that nourish, rather than deplete, your highly perceptive self. It means cultivating practices that allow for the deep processing you naturally excel at, whether through focused solitude, reflective journaling, or engaging in conversations that dive beneath the surface. This conscious management isn't about dulling your senses. It's about sharpening your focus, directing your extraordinary capacity for insight towards what truly matters to you, and allowing your inherent wisdom to guide your path. This isn't just about self-awareness. It's about self-authorship. It's about recognizing that your unique sensitivity and depth of perception are not impediments to be overcome, but rather the very foundation upon which you can construct a deeply fulfilling and impactful existence. This means making deliberate choices about the company you keep, prioritizing individuals who appreciate depth over surface, and who are willing to engage with the nuanced realities you so readily perceive. It means seeking out roles and projects where your capacity for foresight, pattern recognition, and subtle understanding is not just tolerated, but celebrated and utilized. You are moving beyond simply being an observer to actively deploying your observational gifts, transforming insight into influence and wisdom into action. Your influence may not always be loud, but it will be profound, guiding others toward greater understanding and more sustainable paths. This deeper integration also fundamentally shifts your relationship with time and productivity. In a world obsessed with speed and immediate output, your inherent process often requires more space for contemplation, for the slow marination of ideas, for the intricate weaving of disparate threads into coherent tapestries of understanding. This is not inefficiency. It is a different kind of efficiency, one that prioritizes accuracy, depth, and long-term insight over rapid, superficial reactions. You learn to honor your internal clock, to protect your periods of focused reflection, and to communicate your need for thoughtful processing, rather than succumbing to the pressure for instant answers. Your true productivity lies not just in the volume of your output, but in the profound quality and enduring relevance of your contributions, stemming directly from the rich, internal world you so meticulously cultivate. Embracing this cadence is a radical act of self-acceptance and a powerful declaration of your unique value. This radical self-acceptance then frees you from the exhausting pursuit of external validation, allowing you to anchor your worth in the richness of your internal landscape. You cease trying to fit into molds not designed for your intricate wiring, and instead begin to flourish in environments that value nuance, reflection, and foresight. Your contributions, though perhaps less immediately flashy, carry a depth and resonance that endures, because they are born from a process of genuine understanding. This isn't just about feeling better. It's about operating at your highest potential, contributing your most authentic self to a world that desperately needs the clarity and wisdom that only a deep observer can provide. It's about recognizing that your quiet power to see is not a limitation, but the very wellspring of your unique purpose.